am a physician with McFarland Clinic, and I work in the emergency room at Marshalltown Medical and Surgical Center. I live with my wife, Stacy, and I have 3 children, Ryan, age 15, Kyle, age 12, and Sarah, age 9.
We've had season tickets in the same spot for 15 years, ever since Ryan was a baby. And that night they had taken our other son and his best friend to the game. So our other son, Kyle, and his best friend, Luke, were sitting in our season tickets. So literally, Ryan and Ross bought tickets outside the stadium that night that were completely random from where we would normally sit. And I guess they were just in the right place at the right time.
We were sitting there watching the game. It was still in the first half. I looked over, and there was staff from the arena running up the stairs. There were some people in the middle of another row doing CPR on a man laying on the floor. And I'm like, you need to go up there because something's not right.
They're both very quiet, but what you would know about them is that they would be willing to help out anybody at any time.
I immediately got up and ran up the stairs to see if I could help. When I arrived on scene, first of all, I introduced myself as a physician and could I help? It was a very full arena, so there was almost no room to work whatsoever. I shook him by the shoulder and asked if he was okay and could he respond to me, and he could not. And I checked to see if he was breathing, and he was not. I then checked his pulse on his neck, and there was no pulse. So I immediately began chest compressions and rescue breathing, and I just continued CPR until they came up with their equipment. I asked if there was an AED in their bag, and there was, so I got that out and hooked it up and administered 1 shock to the gentleman, and then immediately began CPR again. At that point, we had a pulse, but the gentleman was not breathing yet. So we then took a piece of equipment that we use to intubate the patient, which means putting a tube down the mouth into the trachea to breathe for him. And then by that time, the paramedics from Mary Greeley Medical Center were there. I stayed with the patient until he left the arena, until they took him on the board down the stairs out to the ambulance. And then I went back to my seat and sat down again. I think everyone who's at least in junior high to high school should learn the basics of CPR and learn it well, because it really can make a big difference if it's done immediately after a person goes down and needs that service.
Ross has been given the gift to be able to help people through especially difficult times in his job as an emergency room. So I knew when I made this nomination that he would not think of himself as a hero. He would just say, oh, I was just doing what I do every single day. But the part that came up for me was that he was put in the right place at the right time for a reason.